Welcome back to Boxverse for the latest boxing news and updates. WBO ordered Oleksandr Usyk versus Joseph-Parker. The WBO has mandated that Oleksandr Usyk defend his heavyweight title against Joseph-Parker within 30 days, potentially delaying Usyk's planned rematch with Daniel Dubois.
Breaking boxing news overnight, the WBO have ordered a mandatory world title fight between champion Oleksandr Usyk and former world champion Joseph-Parker. Parker beat Martin Bakole last month to become interim WBO champion after Daniel Dubois pulled out of their world title fight due to illness.
Yeah, that's right. There was a lot of talk that Usyk was going to fight against Daniel Dubois, wasn't there? But it looks like he's going to have to fight Parker. They've got 30 days now to reach an agreement for this ordered mandatory defence. Otherwise, the WBO will order purse bid proceedings. Yesterday, as we said, Usyk and Dubois, we told you, were in talks over that, what would have been an undisputed world title fight. And Wembley was being discussed as a potential venue, but we will see if and when and where Usyk-Parker takes place. I think get it sorted.
Moreover, Adam Catall welcomed the announcement of Joseph-Parker versus Oleksandr Usyk, calling it the right fight for the heavyweight division. He criticized the WBO for allowing multiple interim title fights, while Usyk remained an active champion. Catall believed the recent announcement forced boxing to act, finally making the match happen.
Joseph-Parker versus Oleksandr Usyk. Absolutely. This was always the fight to make it heavyweight if we truly are living in a time of meritocracy. I'll be honest, I was fearful that the usual politics and BS would get in the way and push us in a different direction. The WBO, for example, have had the interim heavyweight belt contested for 5 times, whilst we've had an active champion in the shape of Oleksandr Usyk. It seems that TKO announcement last week has got boxing to pull its finger out. This was always the fight to make because Joseph-Parker has earned his shot at the king.
He also suggested organizing other key fights, like Ajit Kabayel versus Daniel Dubois on the same card, with the winners facing each other next. Catall argued that boxing could be simpler and more exciting if politics were removed.
Make Ajit Kabayel versus Daniel Dubois. Stick them both on the same card and have the winners fight each other. It's pretty easy this game when you get rid of the BS.
Gareth A. Davies discussed the complications created by the WBO's decision regarding Oleksandr Usyk and Daniel Dubois. He explained that Gustavo Olivieri, the WBO president, had announced Usyk could not keep his WBO belt if he fought for the undisputed title against Dubois. This comes after Usyk was stripped of the IBF title following his victory over Tyson Fury, complicating the potential for an undisputed fight.
Yeah, I mean, there's a spanner in the works here, isn't there? Kind of a depth charge that's been laid out by the WBO. It's boxing politics again. Gustavo Olivieri, the new president of the World Boxing Organization, is saying that basically Usyk's not allowed to keep the belt and fight for the undisputed title with Daniel Dubois. Obviously, Dubois holds the IBF title that was stripped from Usyk, going to the complications of this, stripped from Usyk after he won all the belts against Tyson Fury.
Davies labeled this situation as another case of boxing politics, with the WBO's decision acting as a depth charge that could derail the plans for an undisputed heavyweight title fight between Usyk and Dubois. He pointed out that this move would prevent Usyk from holding all the belts in a potential undisputed clash, further highlighting the ongoing political issues within the sport.
Basically, they're saying you're not going to have the WBO belt for this undisputed title fight that they're putting Usyk and Daniel Dubois together. It is boxing politics at its worst. It's a depth charge that the WBO have dropped, and it will scupper Usyk and Dubois being undisputed, Al.
Carl Froch expressed his thoughts on the Joseph-Parker versus Oleksandr Usyk fight, calling it a good matchup. He acknowledged Parker's recent win over Martin Bakole, which was a strong knockout, but pointed out that Bakole was fatigued after traveling from Congo, which somewhat diminished the credit Parker would receive for the victory. Despite that, Froch believed Parker deserved his shot against Usyk, especially after the fight with Daniel Dubois fell through.
Listen, the Usyk-Parker fight, I think is a good fight. Parker's on a bit of a roll. He's just beaten Martin Bakole. That was a great knockout. I know Bakole was flying in late from the Congo and he was tired, but that shot on the top of his head sent his equilibrium and he got stretchered and he got ironed out. It was all over the place. The fight had to be stopped. So although it was a good win for Parker, he's not going to get great credit for it. But do I want to see Parker in the ring with Usyk rather than Dubois against Usyk.
However, Froch noted that a fight between Usyk and Dubois would have more significance, as it could be a unification bout for the heavyweight titles. He felt that while Parker had earned his opportunity, he didn't stand much of a chance against Usyk, given Usyk's impressive achievements, including victories over Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. Froch emphasized that although Parker deserved the fight, Usyk was the clear favorite.
Listen, if Dubois still got the IBF, which he has, if Dubois got the IBF title, that becomes a unification fight. But if Usyk's going to lose the WBO, if you don't defend against Parker, it takes away the unification edge. So I think the fight I'd rather see would be Dubois-Usyk, but Parker deserves his shot. It was Dubois that pulled out the Parker fight, and Parker's had a good win against Bakole. So I feel that Parker deserves his shot. I don't give Parker much of a chance to beat Usyk. Look at what Usyk's done. Usyk's done AJ twice, and he's beat Fury twice. So you can't really say that Joseph Parker has got a great deal of a chance against somebody like Usyk.
Frank Warren discussed the situation surrounding Oleksandr Usyk's next fight, explaining that the WBO does not like having interim champions and always aims for a clear champion. He mentioned that Usyk, who holds 3 belts, is now facing his mandatory challengers, with all fighters from Queensberry Promotions being in line for the shot. The only exception to this would be if Usyk and Daniel Dubois face off in a unification fight.
A lot of things. I mean, you know, under the first of all, the WBO do not like having interim champions. They always make sure that their interim fights the champion, because they only want one champion. That's how they want it. It's the WBO's turn for the next fight with Alexandrov for the 3 belts that he holds. In fact, all our guys are in position to fight him. All Queensberry fighters that are there for his mandatories. The only exemption would be if there was a unification fight against Daniel, and if that happens.
Warren highlighted that Joseph Parker is in a strong position, regardless of the outcome. He pointed out that Parker's hard work in the ring has earned him either a chance to fight Usyk or the winner of the unification bout. Warren emphasized that no matter what happens, Parker has secured his opportunity for a big fight.
I mean, Joe Parker's in a win-win position with all the hard work and what he's done in the ring to get himself into, where he's either going to fight Usyk or he's going to fight the winner of a unification fight. But whatever happens, he's got his shot.
Keith Thurman knocks out Brock Jarvis. Keith Thurman ended Brock Jarvis's night with a 3rd-round knockout, dropping him twice with powerful hooks. Thurman aims to challenge Tim Tszyu next, seeking another title shot. However, Keith Thurman reflected on his performance in his win over Brock Jarvis, detailing how he recognized signs of weakness in his opponent during the 3rd round. He noticed Jarvis breathing heavily and retreating, which indicated that he was struggling. Thurman continued to apply pressure, capitalizing on Jarvis's vulnerability by landing a clean left uppercut that dropped him. Despite Jarvis getting up, Thurman sensed that the fight was nearing its end.
Bing, bop, boom, bam. The type of he wouldn't understand. And, you know, at the end of the day, man, to do what I do and to live this life, man, it's been a 29-year road, you know. And I know a lot of people just wonder what Keith Thurman has, but Keith Thurman has the heart and the will of a champion. Today, tomorrow, and forevermore. But in the 3rd round, I actually came around on the left side, boom, got behind the elbow, and he gave me a wince. You know, he gave me that wince, and I said, you didn't like that, Brocky. And so I stepped forward, he stepped back, I saw the mouth breathing, and these are just little signs that world champions need to know that he's not in a good place right now.
Thurman described how he maintained relentless pressure, pushing forward with no hesitation, and ensuring there was no chance for Jarvis to recover. He acknowledged that his experience and the heart of a champion were essential in closing out the fight. Thurman was confident in his ability to finish the job, and as the referee gave Jarvis a final chance, he knew it was only a matter of time before securing the win.
I continued to press, and he's not strong on his back foot. He slowly started to crumble, and as I continued to put that pressure on him, I got a beautiful left uppercut inside, dropped him. He was able to get up. I mean, he was wobbly. I wasn't sure if the ref was going to stop it there or not. He gave him one more opening chance, but there was way too much pressure, way too much time left on the clock. I put the full press on him, foot on the gas, and Now we're out here talking to you, fight's over.
Keith Thurman's manager praised his performance, saying that Thurman's extensive experience keeps his skills sharp, much like riding a bike. He highlighted Thurman's ability to perform, his heart and mental toughness as what separates him from others. Despite challenges, Thurman showed he is still performing at a high level, and his manager believes he will continue to improve and deliver even better performances in future fights.
I just said to one of the other interviews that I guess when you have so much experience, it's hard. It's like riding a bike, I guess. The skill set never goes away. It's the ticker and the ability to perform. And he showed tonight that his level's above. And he'll bring that to the ring going forward now better and better.
Thurman's manager further discussed a potential fight between Thurman and Tim Tszyu, emphasizing that it would be a highly skilled matchup. He noted that the fight would be completely different from Thurman's previous bouts, with both fighters bringing their own strengths. The manager mentioned that Tszyu, in his current mindset, has become more focused and aware of what he needs to do. This, combined with Thurman's own determination, makes the fight a highly anticipated and exciting one, promising a thrilling showdown.
Tim and Keith will be two very, very high level skilled fighters going at it, and it'll be a totally different fight. And the interesting part for me is in Tim's current mental state, where he now knows and has learnt, and he's focused and bearing down on everything that he needs to do. I think it'll be an absolute cracker of a fight. I really do.
Peter Battle reacted to Keith Thurman's knockout victory, calling it an exquisite and savage performance. He had predicted that Thurman would stop Brock Jarvis within 3 to 4 rounds, which is exactly how the fight played out. Battle acknowledged that while Brock showed bravery and had some ability, there was a clear gap in skill levels, with Thurman being several levels above. He also highlighted that this performance was a perfect ring rust breaker for Thurman after a long hiatus, signaling that the fighter is back in top form.
It was exquisite, it was savage, it was the Keith Thurman that I thought we would see. And I said before the fight, I thought he'd stop Brock within 3 to 4 rounds, and that's how it played out. Now, this is no denigration of Brock. I think Brock's a very brave man to take that fight, and he's got some ability. He's a good domestic fighter, but in this sport, it's all about levels, and to me, that was 3 or 4 levels away for Brock. So I thought outstanding performance from Keith, and he only gets better from here because that's a ring rust breaker, 3-year hiatus, and now he's back in business.
Philip Hrgovic replaces Dillian Whyte to face Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce's scheduled fight against Dillian Whyte was canceled due to Whyte's injury. Croatian heavyweight Philip Hrgovic will replace Whyte, and the two will face off in a highly anticipated matchup. However, Frank Warren discussed the upcoming fight between Joe Joyce and Philip Hrgovic, emphasizing that it's a tough, high-stakes bout for both fighters. He compared it to Joyce's previous fight against Dillian Whyte, where the winner moves forward and the loser faces a critical turning point in their career. Warren acknowledged that every fight for Joyce is risky, but he believes that for Joyce to get back on track, he must win against a credible opponent. He praised Joyce for never backing down from a challenge, citing his strong record.
It's a tough fight for both of them. I mean, you know, it's exactly the same as the fight that he had before Joe against Dillian. You know, the winner goes on, the loser is going to have to think about what he does.
For Joe, especially at this point in his career, could it be underseen as a risky fight? Because it really...
Of course it's a risky fight. Every fight he has is a risky fight, you know, but if he wants to get back into it, he's got to come back with a win against a real good, credible opponent. And Joe's never ducked a challenge. Look at his record.
Eddie Hearn leaks new details on TKO Boxing League. Eddie Hearn spoke candidly about the new TKO League, expressing that he doesn't care much about the promotion. He shared a conversation he had with Turka Alalshik, laughing about how little he's bothered by it, emphasizing that he's completely chilled about the whole situation.
Honestly, and this is just speaking just from the heart, couldn't give a shit. And, you know, I had a conversation with His Excellency the other day, and we were laughing about the fact that I couldn't care less. Like, I'm so chilled.
Eddie Hearn expressed confidence in the future of the TKO League, stating that collaborating with Dana White would be great. He emphasized his openness to working with other promoters and facing new challenges. Hearn conveyed that no matter the direction, his team is ready and up for any challenge, believing they are the best at what they do.
If we work with Dana and TKO, great. If Dana wants to take on other promoters and wants a fight, great. I'm up for that. It's all great. Because it's just life, it's just every day. It's a new challenge, and whatever way we go, we're ready, We're the best at what we do, and we're up for the challenge, however that might come.
Eddie Hearn expressed his interest in working with Turki Usyk for the long term, acknowledging that Usyk understands the quality and operations his team brings. Hearn emphasized that it ultimately depends on what Usyk wants to achieve with his vision and strategy for the sport. He noted Usyk's strong drive and determination, stating that if their collaboration doesn't align right now, it's not personal and could happen at a later time.
But I would like to work with His Excellency for a long time. I believe he knows the quality that we bring. I believe he knows how we operate our business. But it all comes down to what he wants at the time to make sure he can hit his vision, his targets, his strategy. He's very, very driven and determined about what he wants and the vision that he has for the sport. And if you've got something that can help that, come on. And if you haven't, maybe later. That's it. Don't take it too personal.
Frank Warren expressed that he isn't overly concerned about the new boxing league, acknowledging that he discussed it on Box Nation. He mentioned that he doesn't know the full details of the league's format yet and will wait to see how things unfold. Warren emphasized that his focus remains on continuing his current work in boxing and that he's not worried about the developments surrounding the league at this time.
Being a world champion, I don't know what his ambitions are that's motivating him now. It seems like it's money, and even though we all need money and want money and all the rest of it, it's not actually a great motivator in boxing.
Matt Macklin shared his thoughts on the potential impact of Turki Usyk's new TKO league on the boxing world. He acknowledged Usyk as a significant player in combat sports, noting the UFC's dominance and how it achieves success by creating a brand with a near monopoly. However, Macklin pointed out that boxing is much more fragmented, with various promoters and broadcasters involved, making it difficult for any one entity to control the sport.
Yeah, I don't know really. It's interesting, isn't it? He's obviously a big player in combat sports, but you know, the UFC, I don't know the whole history of it, but you know, as far as I can remember, it was like a brand, and it come in and he was in it from the start, and they kind of had a monopoly, where boxing's so fragmented between different promoters, different television networkers, broadcasters, like to just come in and take it over.
Macklin also highlighted the importance of people in the industry, emphasizing that while Usyk has the financial resources to make an impact, he still needs the right people to make it happen. He referenced key figures in boxing, such as Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren, and others, who have established networks and big stables of fighters. Macklin acknowledged that the emergence of the TKO League has certainly raised eyebrows within the industry, and it will be interesting to see how Dana White and other stakeholders view and potentially improve boxing's business model.
You can't just buy it, and money's one thing, and you need money, a lot of it, which seems to be that's no object with His Excellency Turki Usyk. But in terms of, you still need people. Yeah, Dana White is certainly one of those right people, but you know, there's Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren, you know, there's Golden Boy, there's Top Rank, there's Al Heyman. You know, these people have got big stables, they'll have fighters under contract. So I don't know. It's certainly, I'm sure it's certainly raised a few eyebrows within the industry. I guess it's watch the space, you know. But Dana White, obviously a big player in combat sports, very capable guy. So it'd be interesting to see what what his thoughts are on the business of boxing and how he thinks it could be improved or made better.
Robert Garcia shared his perspective on the emerging boxing league, recognizing that Turki Usyk's involvement is aimed at transforming the lives of fighters through large-scale events and valuable opportunities. He highlighted how many boxers, including those he trains, are benefiting from these prominent cards, earning far more than they ever envisioned. Although Garcia works closely with fighters participating in these events, he also maintains strong connections with the WBC, having worked with numerous WBC title holders, which places him in a position where he can't fully take one side.
I've heard a lot of people talking about it. I'm not very familiar with what really happened. Look, Turkey came to boxing to change a lot of fighters' lives, doing a lot of big events, putting the biggest fights out there, the biggest cards out there. So we gotta be, I'm a trainer, I have fighters fighting on those cards, but I also have WBC champions also, with Bam Rodriguez, with Virgil, Mikey was a WBC champion, I have 4 WBC trainer belts, so I gotta support that too, So, it's hard to take sides, but I think both have a point too, the WBC has to obviously defend themselves and do their thing, but Turkey's also doing his thing. he's changing a lot of lives, man. A lot of kids are making more money than they've ever seen in their lives.
Garcia acknowledged that both the WBC and Turki Usyk have legitimate arguments. He noted that the WBC has to defend its stance and preserve its influence, while Turki is providing fighters with much needed exposure and chances for financial growth. Although there's some conflict, Garcia made it clear that he remains supportive of both, respecting the WBC's importance while also appreciating the opportunities Turki is creating for fighters like Virgil and others.
So we have to be with that too, you know. So I don't want to take sides, but I do know that, you know, I'm with both. You know, the WBC loves us. We love the WBC. I have 2 WBC champions. I have 4 WBC belts that they've given me. So how can I turn my back on them? But I can also turn my back on Turki when he's putting Virgil on those big cards and getting paid money that maybe never expected.
Canelo Alvarez shared his thoughts on the new boxing league launched by Turki Usyk. He welcomed the concept of having a single world champion in each weight division, expressing confidence in his position. Currently holding 4 major titles, Canelo stated that if the structure reduces to just 1 belt per division, he believes that title would still be his. He emphasized his flexibility, noting that he's ready to adapt to any changes and isn't bothered by the shift in the boxing landscape.
Well, Canelo, I'm sure you heard the big news yesterday. Turki Usyk is creating a new boxing league. He promises that there will only be 1 world champion in each division. Right now, he's also considered a world champion. As someone who has the WBO, WBC, and WBA titles, how do you feel about that?
I feel good because at the moment I have the 4 belts. It's like if there is just 1 belt, it's mine too. So I can adapt myself in any way. So I don't mind.
So what are your thoughts on this? What do you think? We would love to hear your thoughts. So share your thoughts in the comment section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video.